Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Korlick with Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to Playload. This is all my video game pickups for the month of February 2018. As you can see, kind of strange, because there's not that much in the way of actual video games. They're over here, and then we have a bunch of just random stuff. So let me explain. First, so I obviously went out to an event and stuff, which happens, and I got a couple of packages, mystery packages we will open later. But I do want to talk about a couple of games I got this month before we address this stuff, and this stuff is pretty cool, and I want to tell you the story behind it, so it's going to be one of those episodes. But yeah, so let's talk about the games I did actually get. The first one you've already seen, not much of a surprise here, Flashback for the Sega Dreamcast. Josh Prod sent this to me along with a few other games, which I haven't done videos on, so they're not in this video, but they will get their own coverage at some point. This one, though, already has a video. You can check it out on the channel. Long story short, the game Flashback was ported to the Dreamcast through legitimate means, and you can check it out if you want to check it out. So thank you again to Josh Prod. Now, moving on to games that I haven't had, that I haven't shown before in any capacity, I got various Nintendo Switch games, and I find myself buying more and more Switch stuff, which makes sense. I enjoy the console, I like collecting for it, I think it has this cool vibe about it. But on top of that, from a practical standpoint, I travel a lot. Like I said, I get sent to things, which you're gonna see. So the Switch has become my kind of like go-to platform because obviously I can bring it with me and actually use it like a portable console as opposed to a handheld, which I'm gonna do my Nintendo Switch video, my 1-year birthday video on that, so we'll talk about that at that time. But anyway, so I have various Switch games, so let's see what I got. First I got L.A. Noire by Rockstar. The reason I picked this up was because I wanted to support Rockstar. I was never a huge fan of this game, to be honest with you, but this is the first game that Nintendo, or Rockstar, has taken seriously on a Nintendo platform, and the first game they've put on any Nintendo platform, I think, since the original Wii. And even then, those were just kind of like shovelware things for the most part. I'm not gonna say like universally everything Rockstar made was bad or anything like that, but it wasn't a high priority for them. They're testing the waters to see if that Switch audience really cares. So I wanted to support them on that basis because it's always a welcome addition to have another big AAA developer wanting to support a console you like. So there you go. With the same logic, I did this. This is Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challengers. Now, this is by Capcom. Now, obviously, this has been out for a while, and I've even mentioned before that you should probably buy it to support them, though I personally hadn't gotten around to doing it until now. Capcom seems to have made up their mind. They are going to be supporting the Switch for a while anyway. They're bringing over the Mega Man collection, which just got announced, which is funny. I mentioned in a video a while back that I thought that would be perfect on there, so I'm glad that's actually going to be a thing. But yeah, so good for Capcom. They're making some good calls, and I'm glad that Capcom has done a lot of recovery efforts, because for a while there it looked like they were going to be bought out by somebody, so they've been smart, and that's good. So anyway, happy to pick that up. Now, the rest of the ones I got were all indie titles. I got these largely because indie titles can be pretty fun, but also because I figured down the road they're going to be very hard to get, or at least harder. I shouldn't say very hard, but here's what I got. Soldam Drop Connect Erase, Tiny Barbarian DX, The End Is Nigh, and Little Do 2 Plus. So there you go. Cool to get more Switch stuff, of course, and I'm looking forward to picking up more of it in the future. And again, I'm going to be doing the Switch birthday video very soon, so please make sure to watch that. So that's it for the actual video games. So now I'm going to show you a bunch of like random video game merch I got, as you can see here, swag, if we can use that word, from the Far Cry 5 event that Ubisoft put up. Now, if you're unaware, I get shipped to a lot of different events. I work on 4 channels, I wear a lot of different hats. So like, you know, there's my channel and a few others that I work on. So as a result, if you're looking at this channel being like, dude, you don't even have 100,000 subs, why would anybody send you to anything? This channel does get sent to some stuff, but yeah, other things too. So anyway, one company that loves to send me to things is Ubisoft. I've been to a lot of their stuff. And so they were, you know, they told me, okay, we're doing a Far Cry 5 event, do you want to go? Which really wasn't surprising. I mean, I'd already been to 2 Far Cry 5 events, so I was like, okay, cool, yeah, of course. But I have to say, this event was easily the best one I've ever been to, like by far. So let me explain. For anybody who's interested, the way these events typically work is that the company will contact you or whatever, and they'll say like, hey, we're doing a thing for such and such game. And it's usually in one of 3 cities, like New York, LA, or San Francisco. And they'll be like, yeah, we'll fly you out, put you in a hotel, and then you come out to our studio space or our loft space. Sometimes they rent out a loft, and they make it all nice. You know, it's a very comfortable space. It's got the game usually set up on either Xbox Ones or PS4s or PCs. Sometimes it's themed a bit, the food might be themed a bit, you know, but that's about it. And you play the game and you have a good time, and then once you're done with your footage, you leave. This was very different. This was extremely different. So they showed us like, all right, you know, it's gonna be in San Francisco, which I expected. And then they're like, yeah, so here's your hotel. And I'm looking at it, it's like, it's an hour east of San Francisco. Why would they do that? So I didn't have enough information, but I was like, okay, whatever. So I go to the actual hotel and everything, and that's when we were talking more, and they're like, so what we did is they must have spent like $1 million, $2 million on this event. Like, it must have cost them out the ass to do this event, because what they had actually done is they rented out a ranch, and they tripped it out to look like Hope County, Montana, like the place where the game takes place. And it was visually impressive, to say the least. So we go to this location. They had done it for 3 days, as opposed to usually it's like 1, maybe 2, but they did it for 3. And each day was like 70 to 100 people. So you're talking about a lot of money, man. But so they brought us out there, and the whole place is just like rigged up with all this Far Cry 5 stuff. Like, they had set up a saloon that looked like the Spread Eagle bar. They had set up a barn that was like the place where they would show us like this preview movie for the game, as well as the upstairs space, which is where all the video game stuff was. And you're like, wow, this is really, really cool. And so we play the game, we get all our footage, we do all that stuff. And then they're like, all right, everybody, now that you're done, come on outside. We have a surprise for you. We're like, all right, so we come on outside. And so like, everybody just kind of wait here for a minute. And we're like, okay. And then all of a sudden this like helicopter comes in, and it circles around, and then it lands. And the guy who plays the father in the game comes out all dressed up, and he comes out of the helicopter flies off behind him. And he comes up and he steps up on this like wagon, and he gives a speech about like, you know, he's being very prophetic the way the character would be.
I am your father. You are my children. And together we will march to Eden's Gate. Praise the Lord! And now we will eat barbecue. We're gonna march there first.
It was really, really good. And then after all that stuff, they're like, all right, now we got like activities for you. And I was like, activities? It was like gym class. It was weird. So they were like, yeah, the first thing you can do is you can go ATV riding. We're like, what? So they put us in ATVs. We're on like all the helmets and stuff. And they're just doing like, you know, tons of driving, and like, it's all like awesome. And you're just sitting there like, this is the fucking coolest thing ever. And then after that's done, they're like, all right, now we have this other thing. We're gonna have you do like a shooting range, where they gave us like this slingshot and like little BBs and stuff, and you're just supposed to like hit targets with it, and they teach you how to do that. And then they had a crossbow shooting thing, very similar idea. Like, you know, they have you fire like a live crossbow, not a gun. There were no guns specifically. And they're like, this is so cool. Why are we doing all this? Just for the fun of it, right? You're like pretending to hunt like and stuff like you would in the game. And then you find out there's a reason you're doing all this. They had set up this like obstacle course type of event that was supposed to be themed based on like a very specific moment in the game, called Saving Boomer, aka the dog. And what you do is you have to hit 3 targets in a very like a succession of events. So they teach you on the slingshot, and the first thing you have to do is you have to hit this thing with a slingshot. And I was convinced I was gonna fail that, because I was terrible with the slingshot, just fucking terrible. I couldn't hit anything. But when it actually mattered, I hit the target. First try. I don't know how the hell I did it, but I was just like, fuck it. Yeah, I did that on purpose, whatever. And I ran on to what did the crossbow stuff, which I was actually very good at. I was actually very good at shooting the crossbow, like dead on. That was pretty cool. So then I saved Boomer, and as you can see, Boomer is safe, he's fine. So that was awesome. But yeah, they gave us a whole bunch of just random stuff, which I wanna show you guys. And then there's one random item they gave me I'm gonna show at the very end, but yeah, for now, random things. First, They gave us hand warmers in our little like gift bag, which they don't usually give gift bags, but in that case they did. This was like a last minute addition apparently, just because everybody was like had cold hands. And I'm sitting there kind of laughing because it's California cold. I'm from Chicago, dude. Like that was like nice. Like it wasn't cold at all. But so I was like, all right, sweet, thanks. So I got hand warmers. They gave me a Far Cry prequel novel called Far Cry Absolution, based on Far Cry 5, of course. And then some Far Cry 5 pins. A Ubisoft tote bag. Then there was my badge here, which just says Adam Koralik Game Society. I was there representing Game Society. A Far Cry 5 themed boomer keychain. 511 gave out these hats. 511, I don't know much about them, but I guess they're like a pseudo military tactical like clothing company. I don't know much about them, but some people who actually are military said like, no, 511's legit stuff. So I don't presume to know, but all the military people were like, yeah, good shit. So there you go. A red Far Cry 5 blanket. Admittedly, I did use this a little bit. My legs started getting cold, so credit where credit's due. Far Cry 5 mug. I got a t-shirt, which was very cool. It's Boomer the dog themed right there. Very cool. Of course, I did successfully save Boomer, so he's safe. However, the funny thing is, even if you fail, they'd still give them to you. They'd be like, oh, you missed. Ah, no, it's close enough. Go on. So whatever. I did actually hit my targets, though. I'm happy with myself. And the last thing they gave out after that was all done, they were like, all right, we have another thing for you. Come on over here. And then they gave us these. This is a 511 themed backpack, Rush 24 model, and it's been Far Cry 5 themed with a couple of patches. I was like, oh, that's cool. People were like, no, you don't get it. Like, that's a really good backpack. Like, that's military grade backpack. So I look it up. It's like a $130 backpack. Dude, they were just giving these away. They were just making them rain. Like, that's what I'm saying. Ubisoft spent some fucking money on this, man. And I got the best photo ever. Check this out. So, yeah, isn't that cool? That's like, I posted that and people were like, dude, Far Cry 5 is running in like a 16K like resolution. I'm like, no, that's a photo. That's the actor and me. Like, that's fucking cool as shit. So, yeah, pretty awesome. So, thank you to Ubisoft for all this cool shit, even though I don't think they'll ever see this video, but still, thank you. Now, moving on. We have a couple of mystery packages here. First up, this one comes from Corey Marsh. Now, Corey Marsh, that name might sound familiar. If you listen to my podcast, he's been a Patreon backer on there since the beginning. Every month he gets to pick a subject. And every once in a while, he just sends me stuff, even without asking. He doesn't tell me like what's going on. Stuff will just show up and it's from him. So I want to thank him for that. Every once in a while, he gives me some sort of heads up. He's like, heads up, there's a package coming. It should be there today. And then we'll talk about it for a bit. So in this case, I know what it is now. I don't know much about it, to be brutally honest. I will at some point, obviously, but yeah, so whatever, let's just open it up. Well, I got scissors here for a reason. Let's use them, or I could just drop the thing. That would be good too. So thanks again in advance to Corey Marsh. Obviously, he didn't have to do this. I've told him that many times, but still stuff just shows up. So thank you. If I can get this out here. All right, so it's double packaged. I hate when you need to get out the fucking package and it just won't cooperate. Okay, there we go. All right, so have that. Here it is. This is a SCART RGB to component audio video adapter. Think like the FrameMeister or the OSSC, except instead of going through HDMI, this goes through component. This is by a company called ShinyBow. Now, obviously, I haven't opened it. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to open it just now, just to show you guys like what it actually looks like, and of course honestly to check it out myself, because he didn't tell me much about it, and to be brutally honest, I had never heard of it before. So I will be doing a video on this at some point, but I don't know when. I told him like my schedule is packed right now, and I don't know when exactly this is going to happen, but I'm going to be realistic about it. It might be sometime this summer. Like I said, I get sent to a lot of things. The day I'm filming this video is the day after I got back from San Francisco, but the day before I go to Paris. So like, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm not here a lot of the time, so I have to like, it's hard to manage my time. So I appreciate your guys' patience, I really do. But here it is. This is, yeah, it's got a SCART input and component output. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. He spoke very highly of it. And so I'm very curious to be able to test it out and give you guys another potential option for your setups in the future. So very, very cool. So thank you very much to Corey for that. And of course, obviously when we do the review, we'll talk way more about it. So thank you very much, Corey. Now, last item we have here is another package. This comes from another YouTuber, Mr. Mario 2011, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are subscribed to. And if you're not, you should check him out. I'll put a link in the description to his channel. I was on his podcast, I think it was a couple of years ago. And randomly he contacted me like 2 months ago, a month ago, something like that. And he was like, hey, I have this thing, if you want it, I'll hook you up. And of course, I was like, you really don't have to do that. And he's like, nah, man, I insist. I just kind of want to do this. And I was like, all right. So let me just go ahead and show you what it is. If I can get, this is another one that's like packaged too well. And I don't have, and of course, you guys are like, ooh, he's bringing the scissors towards his face. Is he like stupid? Yes, he's stupid. That's just how it goes. Because I don't own box cutters. And I never bother with getting any. You know what? Somebody send me a box cutter. That's the one thing where I'm like, you know what? Somebody actually send me that. I wouldn't turn that one down. But then again, the box cutter would make this all too easy, and where's the fun in that? Anyway, so there go the scissors. We have bubble wrap, and then inside we have the item, which is wrapped in more bubble wrap, which would make sense. It is, some of you can already tell, an Xbox 360 OG fat model. And if you're like, okay, what's the big deal about that? This one is actually special. This has been flashed. This has been modified. This is a Jasper board model that he basically modified. So it can play burn stuff, it can play imports, things like that. I believe the reason he did this is he's kind of that type of kid who likes to play with Legos, but not so much, or it's like to build Legos, but not so much play with them. I think it's the same type of logic. Like he likes modifying stuff, but not necessarily playing with it. That's my guess, because that would make sense. Also, this included some sort of CDR. It just has information about the dashboard, I guess, which I probably shouldn't read out, so I won't. But yeah, so there you go. It's got an HDMI port on it, so that's good. It's not the earlier component models. So very awesome. I'm looking forward to checking this out. Thank you very much to Mr. Mario 2011. And thank you, of course, to Corey. Thank you to Ubisoft. Thank you to Josh Prod for all this cool stuff. And thank you, guys, for watching. I will see you all later.